Alligators, ha! Well, let me tell you, I used to work for the Fish and Wildlife for almost 2.5 years. And my job was to catch nuisance alligators in residential areas and release them back into the wild or into state parks. Well, I can remember there was this one time that I was called out to a residential boardwalk where there'd been a nuisance alligator that was roughly about 4 foot long, which is average size to try and catch on your own. So I drove to the residential area, got there, walked onto the boardwalk, and set my gear down at a spot that looked promising for an alligator. Once I was there, I took out my gear, which consisted of a fishing pole and a frog lure. I took the frog lure and attached it to the fishing line. While I was doing this, there's people walking up and down the boardwalk, and I told them, hey, I'm with the Fish and Wildlife, and I'm here to catch a roughly 4 foot long alligator. Have you guys, seen it? Well, none of them had really said it, but they said they'd keep an eye out. And so until I could find it, I walked up and down the boardwalk casting over and over and over and over. And finally, after a while, one of those residents came up to me and they said, hey, at the end of the boardwalk, there's a roughly 4 foot long alligator, and it could be the one that you're looking for. So I picked up all my gear, walked to the end of the boardwalk with this guy, and sure enough, sitting right there in front of the boardwalk, plain as day, was the alligator that I'd been looking for. So I set my stuff down, kind of sighed to myself, attached the frog lure again, make sure everything was all right. And so I casted it out there. And as soon as that frog hit the water, that alligator went off like a shotgun. It bit down on the frog and proceeded to go what was called a death roll. And every time that it did this, it kept getting loose. And unfortunately, after multiple attempts, I was not able to bring it in. But when I went back the next day, let me tell you, it did not escape that time.